In today's video, we're going to be going over 5 winners after the 2025 NFL Draft and 5 losers to see what this roster and potentially what this team looks like after the draft. This one is real simple in how I did it. It's who got better, who maybe position group that got a lot, who are players that potentially could be on their way out after the draft because they went and they got a lot of talent. Before I jump into it, though, who is your biggest winner after the 2025 draft was over? Give me your thoughts in the comments right now. My first winner here I have is Jared Goff, and this one is really easy to understand. Jared Goff, having weapons around him makes him better. Protecting him makes him better. Run game makes him better. And what the Detroit Lions did in this year's draft is they gave this man talent and surrounded him with talent. They drafted 2 wide receivers in this year's draft, one that they traded up to get. And they tried a lot of trades in this draft because they really liked the player. We're talking about Isaac TeSlaa. He says, on day 2, we've tried 2 trades ups, Holmes said in Constant Jets show. Guys, though, we're 2 down on of about 30 attempts. Just happened to be 2 that we're able to do. IB TeSlaa. But this one is the other in different attempts. It was hard sometimes to find a partner because teams just don't want to go that far down. Jake, like I was talking about earlier, the further you go down in the talent pool, the depth of the specific team board is going to drop as well. So you have to be having peace with that. Look, he was giving the Detroit Lions Jared Goff talent for this year with TeSlaa and Tate Ratledge in the offensive line, as well as going forward for many years because they literally drafted 4 positions for that offense to help Jared Goff out. And look, we lose Ben Johnson. That sucks. We lose Kevin Zeitler. That sucks. With that said, Brad Holmes says, we're going to go ahead and give you talent. And if you look at the Lions offense right now, there is a ton of talent on it. I mean, this is your starters right here. Taylor Decker, Christian Mahogany, Frank Ragnow, Tate Ratledge, Penei Sewell. My God. You lose Zeitler, don't really matter. They just keep influxing. Keep bringing in talent here on this offensive line. They make it a strength to strength. St. Brown, Jameson Williams, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam LaPorta. Lions offense is absolute fire after the draft. Rank the Lions offense. 1 if you think they're the best in the NFL. 32 if you are a Bears fan. Next winner on my list here is going to be Hank Fraley. This one is simple. They drafted 2 guards after they lose Kevin Zeitler, so they're getting younger on the offensive line. They're getting more talent on that offensive line, and that's going to help out Mr. Hank Fraley significantly, not just this year, but going forward with the offensive line. You get Tate Ratledge, you get Miles Frazier. Much better. Just giving a man who is great at his job and Hank Fraley, giving him more talent. He is a significant winner on my list. Next winner on my list is Jameson Williams, and I can't wait to talk to you why I think Jameson Williams is on the list. Before the draft, speculation and rumors saying that Jameson Williams is going to get traded. He left out of social media the Detroit Lions. A lot of stuff coming out that he was upset because of social media. When that stuff came out, I said it could be anything. End up, the rumor is completely bunk. There is no truth to the rumor at all. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they never talked about it. That's what Brad Holmes said. It was completely bunk. Jameson Williams still on this roster. And yes, we did pick up a wide receiver for sure, but they picked up a 5th-year option. He's on the team. That's got to be winner if you ask me. I like to know whoever started the rumor. Locally, I know Albert Breer did it big time, but that was a false rumor. Next winner on my list, how about Hendon Hooker? There's rumors that we would trade him. He is still here. He's still on the football team. Now, look, they could trade him right before the season starts. What if a quarterback goes down? But I've been saying that he's a cheap backup quarterback. I know they picked up Allen in free agency. Fully expect Hendon Hooker to win that. They didn't pick up a quarterback at all in this year's draft. No one expected it. I sure as heck didn't expect them to pick a quarterback. Just didn't make any sort of sense to anybody looking at that. Hendon Hooker, again, young quarterback on this roster, still developing. We invested a third-round pick on him. He's still here. He's still our quarterback. A winner that you may not hear about, how about Trevor Nowaski in the depth at linebacker? After the draft, we didn't draft a linebacker, so the depth that we currently have with Anthony Pittman or Trevor Nowaski we picked up last year, the Detroit Lions have faith in that. And they had a ton of linebackers come in for the pre-draft visit. Lions decided to go in a different route. But I got to say, I got to keep it a buck to Trevor. He actually did really well last year. And so I actually have faith that he can be a good depth piece for the Detroit Lions. And that's great. I mean, the Lions' depth is really good. We have a good influx of I'd say, veterans in there that's going to make the Lions' defense, all combined, pretty good this year, especially with the new, I wouldn't say necessarily new defense, but new defensive coordinator. So who is the biggest winners of all of the folks in the draft? In the comments, give me your thoughts. Now, not everything is going to be lovely. Not everything is going to be good. There's always going to be losers in the list, and the losers that I picked, the first two at least, is not losers for this year. It's more of next year. We're starting with Kalif Raymond here. The Lions picked up two receivers, Gittin Lovett, who literally seems to be a replica of Kalif Raymond that we picked up in the 7th round. Now, I think he makes the team. Lovett does. And Kalif Raymond, obviously, I have making the team. But when you draft two receivers, one basically the exact same skill set that you do and is good on special teams, fast, can do the intermediate routes. It's got the same type of style. It spells that this could be the last year for Kalif Raymond, and he has been injured the last couple of years. We love Raymond here, and I don't necessarily, again, think he's a loser for this year, but it does spell like the time coming up. And I think that's the same thing for the next player on here, and that's Tim Patrick. Again, it's not for this year. We love Tim Patrick. I love him this year. I think he's going to get a lot of yards, right? He's going to be a big contributor, but for more of next year. Because when I look at this NFL draft, I don't generally think it affects players that we see starting or playing on game time majority of the time, like Kalif Raymond or Tim Patrick, right? It's more of the depth players. But, again, when you're drafting two receivers and you're taking Isaac TeSlaa, who is a replica of Tim Patrick, 6'4", runs a 4.43. He's a great route runner, and he can do down the middle. So I think that he is a guy, not for this year, but for next year, is a loser on my list. Massive loser on my list is Colby Sorsdale. This one affects him significantly, and he does not make the roster, in my opinion, after we draft two guards. Giovanni Manu last year, and they say he could do guard. He's probably going to be tackle, but it just spells the end of Colby Sorsdale. He has not developed in any way that you would like him to develop. They tried him at tackle. They tried him at guard. Lions had enough of it, and they went out and gave this offensive line a gigantic boost in age and talent, and in my opinion, that hurts him making the squad. A significant loser on my list as well is Mr. Broderick Martin. I think Broderick Martin absolutely is done after this year. I was told just right after the season was over that he was potentially not making the roster, and that was then. The Detroit Lions has got to understand, and they know that they have to have that defensive line with a lot of talent, with Lee McNeil going down, DJ Reader a bit older. So Tyleik Williams comes in. They get a defensive tackle. The Lions clearly wanted to upgrade the interior of the defensive line, and it's a big upgrade. And I think you look at Tyleik Williams going forward and Lee McNeil, that's going to be a good combination, Levi and Uzurike, but it spells the end of Broderick Martin. It just means the Lions are looking elsewhere. Who is your biggest winner, or who is your biggest loser on this list? put up in the comments. My last biggest loser, and then we're going to talk about a question afterwards, is Graham Glasgow. I think he is a significant loser. Again, just like we talked about Colby Sorsdale, the Lions drafted 2 guards, but the difference is Graham Glasgow, he could be cut for the Lions to save money because his money for this year is pretty expensive. The Lions got younger. They can cut Graham Glasgow and let him walk in free agency. Now we're going to be talking about the edge position right now because there's questions. And Brad Holmes has something for the fan base and people that criticize not having edge. He says, I've been curious at the team that have those 5 or 6 elite edge rushers in the middle of the market. I have been curious, okay, so we have elite edge rusher. All we're going to ask is about edge rusher, who those players are. Explain, Holmes. When you go to these cities and in the media markets, all you do is get questions about edge rusher. You have an elite one, but you're still asking about it. How come you don't want another one? Now you get into are you trying to build a football team, or they're trying to just pair up ends? I've said all the time, we love to have 3 or 4 of them, but that's just not the reality all the time. So he keeps saying about the edge rusher. So after the draft, my question is, should the Detroit Lions bring back Za'Darious Smith? Will they bring him back? Because, yes, we picked up Signin in the 6th round, but you still want better depth at that position. It seems like after the draft, a winner or a question mark should be Za'Darious Smith, at least for the Detroit Lions, because the Lions need to get better at the edge position, and we didn't go edge in the beginning of the draft. And we got a guy out here who's familiar with this team, who has been on this team. He's a great leader. He's a quality guy, and Za'Darious Smith, and I'd be great rotation for the Detroit Lions. If they wanted to bring him back on that defensive line, the Lions would be stacked. In the comments, give me your thoughts about winners and losers. Adios.